We're discussing Kendall Jenner's new Architectural Digest review because apparently moving is her cardio. I've honestly lost track of how many times this family has bought, built, sold, moved. It's truly a rich people problem. I have no idea what that's like. Her last house it was okay. I'm gonna cross my fingers that we have a better transition with this one.
Hey AD, it's me again. Welcome to my mountain house. Come on in. We are in the living room now. I worked with Heidi Collier on this house, and I feel like one of the first things I said to her was I really wanted like grandma chic. I have always kind of had this dream and vision of like a very just exotic, kind of crazy
Exotic.
couch that becomes the statement in the room. And a lot of the books in the house I've like personally gone out to buy. I love finding antique shops around town and finding cute little random things that I grab, and everything kind of has a story. This is the most communal room in the house. We have the kitchen right here. There's the piano here. A lot of friends have ended up on this piano. A friend of mine called me one day and was like, I found something really, really cool that I think you might like. And he had found this Gibson piano online. And I just felt like it fit so perfectly in this house. Red is one of my favorite colors. I found this harmonica in town. There's two of them, the big one and the little one. I just thought they were so cute. So they came home with me.
First of all, calling that couch exotic is a bit of a stretch. I'll give her a point on the whole grandma look. Chic, that's to be determined at this point because I don't know where they were going with it. I can appreciate that they were going for a more communal area of the house, giving like a larger than life sofa that feels more functional, and it's really around the art of hosting, so I'll give her a point for that. I will tell you I am already annoyed, and we're not even into this video, because she's focusing on decor, like this piano and the harmonica. I want to see more of what that fireplace looked like that I briefly got a little picture of. From the clip, it looks almost as if the hinges are on the side, so I'm assuming there's probably a TV hidden there, which, once again, is a really great design feature to point out, because I want to see design. I don't really care about her going and buying a bunch of books from a local store to decorate her coffee table. It really shows you that people that don't know about design, they will talk about what they do know, which clearly isn't much. I'm going to have a controversial take here. You're going to have to let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me on this one. But I feel like rich people love old antique items. They love going thrifting because they grew up with everything new all the time. They could have anything and everything they've ever wanted. So as they get older, all they want to have is like one of a kind secondhand items. Meanwhile, I grew up with absolutely no money. So I lived at the secondhand store for both of our home stuff and for actual clothing, which as an adult, now that I'm very grateful I can afford the stuff I like, I absolutely hate it. You will not catch me in a secondhand store. And I know that sounds a bit pretentious, but that's just my take on this one. I got a feeling it's very similar in terms of how they're operating. From what I can see from the style of this home, it has massive timber construction and framing, which once again is such an incredibly beautiful detail to really highlight in any space, especially with this being like a mountain home. Why aren't you envisioning this? And also speaking about the architectural side of this, this is Architectural Digest, people, but that's besides the point. I don't mind the vintage wingback chairs with the plaid. I think they're cute. They go more with the fireplace and the timber, which feels a little bit more kind of masculine and more moody versus everything else that is very light and rustic. I'm starting with violence right off the top. I'm going to give this room a 4 out of 10.
This is the kitchen. We wanted a really open space, hence it's kind of connected to the family room. There's so much going on in the house that I want it to feel a little bit more neutral. So we used the floors and the range and the details as the pops of color. When building the house, this skylight came up and I thought how perfect in a place that snows, trees come through really beautifully. And I think it creates such nice light in here. My mom was looking at a house and begged me to come see it with her. And when we walked in, we saw a fireplace and a kitchen and we just thought it was so cute. And I thought the more fireplaces, the better. My Campbell's mugs were a gift from, I call her like my second mom, so long ago. And they sat in my house in LA for forever. I hope she doesn't watch this. And I didn't really use them.
Decor and cups. I want to know more details about the kitchen, like that Arabescado looking stone. That's a great feature. Why aren't you speaking about this? The full skylight, I'm going to give a point architecturally. I think that is an absolute dream to have that much light flooding in through the kitchen. And from what I can see based on the quick video there, that we have some cylindrical downlights on the framing. So in the evening, I'm sure the lighting in here is dreamy, especially with how tall this space is being. Lighting is really important. The marble, I don't mind. I think that ledge is really cute. I like the brass bar detail that kind of gives it that extra little like vintage feel to it. But the kitchen itself is a mixture of a bunch of different styles, especially with the fireplace there. I don't mind the wall sconces flanking the hood fan. Honestly, that would have been enough if you just wanted those two accent lights because they're not really serving more of a function. It's just kind of more of an aesthetic glow. The wood burning oven, or the fireplace as she says on the left, is, I'm not too sure. It feels, like I said, so out of place for this space, especially when it's paired with that plastered hood fan. It just doesn't look like it belongs. We have like this rustic, almost like limestone or soapstone. It just ends right on the left side. The balance feels very disproportionate on both sides. I probably would have carried the plaster onto that fireplace so it doesn't feel like an intentional feature. It blends into the space and it's just there. Or I would have brought that soapstone or limestone all the way across so it feels a little bit more rustic and with the times of this home. But like comparing the living room and the kitchen so far, we're really off base with a cohesive design style. The color palette is nice. I like the baby blues. I like the oxblood and the white. Overall, this vision feels very disconnected. I'm gonna give this kitchen a 4 out of 10, which is harsh.
This is the dining room. I knew I wanted a big table because it is really pretty much the only communal place for everyone to sit and eat. But we've done dinners here and, I do therapy here. I think one of the biggest things in this room was I wanted it to feel a bit like a sunroom, and that's what it turned into. The light trickles in so nicely, and we have some aspen trees outside that kind of flicker the light in, and it's a really pretty room. I think you guys know what this is. The most important room in the house. The bar.
Oh, to have a dining room that big with the amount of windows, like I think having it designed almost like a sunroom, like she mentioned, I think is a beautiful touch. The views I can only imagine from there are probably gorgeous, having that panoramic look in the banquette. Now to talk about that banquette, because an oversized style like that is nice until you're in the middle on the back there and you have 6 people on each side and you need to go to the bathroom. No one is getting out. So it's a little bit of an inconvenience. I mean, I probably would have wanted to have 2 tables with a space in the middle because from the looks of it, I don't know the full scale of this room, but it looks like it's almost 20 feet long, which is a massive and absolutely massive dining table. The soft fabrics in this room, I like the shades, I think are quite nice. Aesthetic wise, this feels cozy and warm. It feels like kind of like the mountain cottage, like also her comment on the bar. I paused and zoomed in because I'm not a drinker, but I would assume, if you have a bar, most bottles have different levels of alcohol in them if you're drinking them. Not a single one of these is opened. Maybe her alcohol isn't as great after all. That's up for you to decide. I know that's probably going to debate people in the comments. Honestly, for this room, I'm going to be generous only because, once again, the architectural details are nice here. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because it feels very homey. Like if I had like a grandmother and this was her house and she cooked like a family cooked dinner, this would feel really beautiful. Otherwise, not for me.
When thinking about this house and how casual it is up here in the mountains, I thought, what kind of art am I going to put in this house? And I came across one of the biggest Western auctions. I had the best time bidding online and finding a couple pieces for the house.
I'm going to assume that was the foyer. She talked about the Western art auction that she was getting her stuff for. Once again, major disconnect. We have a Western theme. We have grandma chic. We have rustic. We have farmhouse. We're not off to a good start here, to say the least. I don't mind the dark stained wood. I think the antique pieces kind of like add to it. It feels very warm. It's a nicer juxtaposition against a lot of the other wall finishes. The art is not my taste, but I do like the frames. I like the picture frame lights, that it was intentionally designed around putting art there. So we have the lights to highlight it in the space, especially when it's a little bit darker. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10 only because I have no idea what this really looks like. I'm just going to assume that the design is very subpar if that's the only feature you're showing me for this space.
The powder room was really important to me. It's the only one in the house, and so I wanted it to feel really charming and cute. I had seen inspiration from Green River Project, and they had the cutest little bathroom. It was just all wood with a colored toilet and a sink. I just think it feels really fun. I love this bathroom. It's a special little place.
We have a Western theme. It feels very themey. I don't know why. It's giving like Pioneer Village vibes. It's charming to an extent. I do love a powder room that has a unique feature and feels like it's a little bit of an escape or disconnect from the rest of this house. But this is not doing it for me. It feels very forced. The wood paneling, the antique features. I don't mind the mirror, the lights. I think those are really beautiful. The wash basin and the mirror, they do feel a little bit too themed. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 10. I probably would have given it a 3 if there was a cowboy hat somewhere in there, because I think that's a missed opportunity for this like literal Western look.
I remember being a little intimidated by the wallpaper before we put it onto the walls and thinking, oh no, did we make a crazy mistake? I wanted it to feel like you want to read a million books in here, and I think we achieved that. I love my ceilings in here. We did reclaimed beams with reclaimed paneling. I think it just turned out so well. It really warms up the room really nicely. Obviously, we have the fireplace, which also feels really cozy. And again, read all the books in here.
I gotta give credit where it's due, and I think the color palette in this bedroom between the muted greens, the pale pink bed sheets, the warm toned wood, the reclaimed wood on the ceiling, the dark floors, even the dark stone for the fireplace really look well put together, and the design overall color palette wise is cohesive. The wallpaper is definitely not for me. I would have wanted to amplify more of this rustic theme, like the reclaimed wood that they did on the ceiling with those barn beams, I think would have been beautiful to bring down along the headboard of the wall to really kind of cocoon that space so it feels cozy. Otherwise, the ceiling feels very disconnected from like the wallpaper because it, once again, feels a little bit too themey. I love a fireplace in a bedroom, but this one is bothering me. They tried this asymmetrical look with the fireplace, but the scale and the proportions all around it look really off, which makes me look at it and be like, this doesn't look right. The chair and the light on that side offer a little bit of a balance, but not enough for the visual weight to kind of be taken off of it. It's throwing it off. That's how you can always tell a space is either well designed or poorly designed, on how balanced it feels and the visual weight of what's proportionate in a room. A really good tip to look at it this way is squint your eyes and kind of envision things in black and white and blobs. You can see the scale that's darker and lighter. That positive and negative space help dictate whether a space is balanced. That's a really great way to look at it if you don't have like a good design lens. Like I said before, that ceiling is gorgeous. Like these architectural details should have been at the forefront of the description of these spaces because they're so well designed and you almost don't really need to add anything to it. Like you can amplify these architectural details and make this space look really, really nice. Architecturally, I'm going to give this room an 8 out of 10. The color palette and everything else it's carried through and decor wise, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
I love this bathroom. This burgundy color is like one of my favorite colors in the world, but between the vaulted ceilings and just all the windows and how big it is, it's such a nice room to hang out in. And my shower might be my favorite thing in this entire house. We took inspiration off of the floors in the kitchen and kind of pulled it into this bathroom.
I'm sorry, my face probably showed you exactly how I feel. Sometimes I can't hide it. But the starting of this bathroom, I really liked the color palette. Everything looked really well. And then she talked about the shower and I'm like, oh, it feels so juvenile. Like for a child, this is like cute. It's a really busy pattern to have these zillage tiles in a checkerboard at such a small scale, but such a vast shower. The fabric window treatment in that shower is killing me, especially because I can see there's a rain head up there that looks like it's almost 9 feet in the air, and that's going to be soaked. Let's get back to what I do like. The cobblestone floors outside the shower by the tub are really beautiful. The baby blue fabric on the curtains are done like really nicely. It's such a beautiful tone to soften that deep burgundy, which you know I love that color. An oxblood or a burgundy is like honestly design daddy approved. The vanity is quite beautiful as well. I love the marble. The edge detail from what I can see around the sill is really nice. The plumbing fixtures look like they're an unlacquered brass, which is like a thumbs up for me as well. This feels like too pop of color, like she said, and she said a few times in this. It doesn't do it for me. That's just me though. Let me know in the comments, because from everyone online that was giving reviews on this house, they said the shower was incredible. They were like, oh my God, I would love that. I don't know about that, but you can argue with me in the comments on it. I'm gonna have to give this bathroom a rating without the shower. Without it, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Everything looks flawless color palette details. Realistically, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10 with that shower. It really drags down the design and it feels too out of place.
This is a adult bunk bedroom, I like to call it. I imagine my nieces and nephews being in here, probably my future kids being in here. The custom red ladder, I think the red was my choice. I wanted a pop in here, and I think I was begging for red at some point in the house and kept getting shut down, and finally I got it.
Okay, so we have an adult bunk bed room, I guess. I feel like they definitely stole this idea from Jennifer Garner. Her 80 tour had the bunk beds for her kids, and I think it was gorgeous. The only thing I'm kind of liking at first glance in this is that green. This one feels like there's just too much going on. Like, it's cute to an extent. It feels like the style is on brand. The color palette, isn't too overwhelming, which is odd because everything else in this house so far is like this weird disconnect. The pop of red, it's not a thing. This like unexpected red theory that people were talking about for this TikTok trend, it doesn't work. It looks so out of place. And she's like, I wanted a pop of color. Stop using a pop of color, okay, people? It does not work. Having like a random, vibrant, saturated color that just stands out like a sore thumb doesn't make your space look cohesive. It gives you a weird landing point so then your eye doesn't actually know what to focus on. Not for me. Like, this room I think would be really cute for kids, but I personally don't know any child that's gonna like a grandma styled room with like quilts for the bedding. 5 out of 10 for this one because I'm going to be generous.
I adore this bathroom. It feels kind of 70s inspired to me. I really love this wood bead board and then the mix of the green with the brown. I remember mentioning to Heidi that I wanted fun little random moments in the house, things that were off-centered, maybe not super perfect. So that's where this came about. Coming up with the palettes was also so fun in this house, like looking at the tile next to the wood next to the sconce. Like, it was also fun to see it all together.
We're jumping through so many historical timelines in this house because now we're in the 70s with this avocado green and walnut. I feel like they couldn't get a concept down pat that feels, once again, cohesive. I love that little window in the shower. I think that's a really cute detail to break up that wood paneling, and it feels very curious, which I like design-wise. The Zillage tile on the floor is a big no for me. These are imperfect tiles, and 99% of the time, the installation is meant to look like offset and handmade because they're literally hand done. If you're going to be walking barefoot, which is not going to be an enjoyable experience, especially if you have to walk on uneven pieces, I certainly hope they found this coloring so it was a flat instead of uneven. Aesthetic-wise, it's cute because it carries into the shower, but functionality-wise, I'm giving this a 3 out of 10. This room feels so random. I'm not a fan of like puce green. Let me know in the comments. Maybe this is for you, but that's not for me at all.
We are in one of the guest rooms. I'm obsessed with this iron red bed. And then the polka dots on the walls, again, was something that felt really intimidating for me on paper. And once they went in, I think they work perfectly.
This is a bit of a snooze, if you ask me. Like, the red, the green, the blue, the white in here is just throwing it all off. Like, there's nothing daring in this room. Is this like filler content? Because it looks incomplete. I'm gonna have to give this a 2 out of 10. Like, I feel like they just put this in here and they filled it with furniture to make it look complete, but it wasn't actually, at the forefront of any design feature.
Bathrooms are the highlight of this house, most likely. I love the color palette in here. I love this deep green on the walls mixed with the blue tile, and then there's little pops, like little bits of red and these lampshades. The entire room is a bit whimsical, and I think this bathroom also feels a bit whimsical. I think the theme of the house is color. On the outside, the house feels really simple and really clean, and then you kind of come in and it feels really exciting.
I like how she's like, the theme of this house was color. I'm like, girl, no. You have so many themes going on. Color is not part of the cohesive palette. Yes, you have a few like really great color palettes. Oh god, this is so off. I think the color palette, at least in this bathroom, is really beautiful. The green and the blue is flawless. I'm not a huge fan of the grout choice for the blue tiles, but it's not the end of the world. This palette feels very like Ralph Lauren, which once again is another concept that we've brought into this home that doesn't work with the rest of this space. Like, I'm gonna have to give it a 7 to 10. There's no like real notes besides it feeling disconnected. Clearly there's an identity crisis going on here. I think someone needs to book an appointment for their therapist and fast.
A few years ago, I got this Bambi Airstream as a gift for my birthday. I thought, how perfect would it be to bring this to the house and gut it and renovate it and have a little fun doing that. So I wanted this to act a bit as a third guest room. We took the kitchen out, fixed it into the ground, did real plumbing, real electricity, real AC, heating, and then added this cute little shower bath moment. So I think it's really fun. Again, another room I might sleep in. I think it's so cozy. All the colors in here are just actually perfect. The lace little drapes and the boaty pillowcases, it's very, very fun.
Okay, so we got a trailer Airstream guest room. When gays say they'll go camping, this is the extent of the glamping they will go to. They got fixed plumbing, we got electrical in the trailer, and it's right outside the house. I think this is a cute idea as an additional guest room until it's winter and you have to be outside and everyone's inside by a nice fire. Concept is, I think, cute. Like the clash of random finishes in here work since we're literally in a shuffle at this point. But this is going to be a 2 out of 10 for me. The water trough that they use as a bath and slash like shower is not doing it for me. For someone that was born and raised on a farm, that is a trough that horses are drinking water out of. I am not going to be bathing in that tiny little space. This house has as much hand-me-down random quilted blankets as you could like make with all the different colors, themes, and decades that we really touched upon here. I've seen a few people comments of this house saying it is like so beautiful. And if it's for your 80-year-old grandmother, yeah, it could be. Clearly she is a very old soul. She likes personality. She likes charm. This space is giving a different type of character that is too themey because there's too many disconnected rooms that feel like it's not on brand for what you would want for a style of a home of this nature, especially being like a custom from the ground built. And I'm looking at this purely from a design lens because I want to show you how to create balance in a space, how to make it look good. There was nothing that was really hitting the mark from a design lens here. I'm going to have to give this like an overall rating. Now that I'm like looking at all these pictures together, I'm going to have to give it a big womp womp with a 4 out of 10 because the only points I can give them are the beautiful color palettes that are great in isolation, but overall it feels super cluttered. We had such incredible architectural details of this home that we could have focused on and really accentuate. It was not what I was expecting. You have to let me know in the comments if you like this or if you didn't, because I feel like this is going to divide people right down the middle because it's not for me. But you're here watching Design Daddy, so make sure you like and you're subscribed to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok for all my daily tips and tricks on how I can make your space look great. And if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do?